Hello again. Is this me doing a sort of consistent upload? Maybe, who knows? It might take me weeks to edit this, but as of now, hello. If you're new here, I'm Meg, I read books and I'm gay and that's about all we do here. Except today I'm talking about majoritively straight romance because why not? No, because I have not seen any videos on BookTube talking about F1 and books because there's a weird overlap right between the book talk girlies and the F1 girlies. There's something there. My girlies love both, okay? I thought I'd fill that gap for you guys and just talk about some of the F1 books that I've read that you might want to read if you, like me, are an F1 girly. Except I'm more of a autistic, know all about the ins and outs of like horrific motorsports crashes F1 girly, but you know, that's another story. And I feel like now more and more women are becoming Formula 1 fans. Like that was just not a thing when I got into I got into F1 in like 2008 when Lewis won his first title, and I would have been really young and no other girls I knew watched Formula 1, and now it's so amazing to have so many girls that watch Formula 1 and to like share my love of it with people that I relate to and also want to read all of the romancy, spicy books. Usually I don't talk about spicy books on my channel. There is a reason for that. I tend to put them on my Goodreads, but I just don't feel comfortable promoting the sort of books that I read on my channel because they're bad. And I don't feel comfortable putting that across to a younger audience that potentially might be watching my channel. But these ones are just like normal level spicy, like they're just cute romances. So I think I feel more comfortable putting these on my channel. That's why this is like the only time you'll hear me talk about spicy books on this channel. There is a mix as well. It's not all just romance. There's a couple of mysteries on here because not everyone wants to marry an F1 driver. I get that. I do. Susie Wolff, Lewis Hamilton. I'll do you both. I'm not picky. And there is also a sapphic book, which is my favourite on this whole list. So stick around because I know most of my girlies are here for that. I know my audience, okay? Anyway, the first book is the only one that I actually have a physical copy with me at uni. Most of these, I have to say, most of these I've read on Kindle because they're just easiest to find on Kindle. So if you're looking for one of these, Kindle Store, Kindle Limited is your best bet. But I do have a copy of Throttled by Lauren Asher, and that is the first series I'm going to talk about. I think the first one is obviously Throttled, and then I have the rest at home. I hold them in my last book haul. If you want to see that, the link will be somewhere around here. This is Throttled, which is like brother's best friend, grumpy ex-sunshine, very cute, but they all follow like racers in the same world of Formula 1, so all these guys know each other and then all the characters are like recurring throughout the books, which is really cute because you get to see like the characters from this one, how they're doing in like 3 books time. Very sweet, very sweet. And it covers a lot of different issues and stories within Formula 1, so whatever you are looking for, there will be something in here. And my favourite part of these books is finding all the bits that are like inspired by real life. Then I could be like, ha, that's supposed to be you, Lewis, or look, it's Pierre. That's my favourite part, but I don't think that's supposed to be the favourite part. But anyway, yeah, so Throttled is very cute. Collided is like bad boy ex-innocent girl, and it's also like it's his boss's daughter, which is a bit, that's Collided, which is the second one, and then the third one is Reved, which is like a PR girl who's trying to save like a bad boy, like self-destructive racer guy who's quite clearly modelled on Lewis. Thank you. And then the fourth one is like a lot more intense because it's about, well, it's fake dating, which is really cute, but it's also about like rehabilitation, like mentally and physically, from a racer who's had an accident, and it handles it really well. There's quite a few books on here that I have an issue with how they handle racing incidents, because I get that if you're talking about Formula 1, that's quite an easy plot device to throw in, but this series handles it really well. Props to Lauren Asher for that. The Formula 1 is really well researched, so it doesn't feel fake. It doesn't feel like you're reading it and you're going to be like, did you even watch a race? Because Lauren Asher has clearly watched at least Drive to Survive. And yeah, they're classic romance books for my romance girlies. Could not recommend more. The next series is also for my classic romance girlies, and that is, I don't even want to say this, it's the Fast and series by Kat Ransom. So the only one I've read is the first one, which is Fast and Hard. I know, The titles are icky, but the content is not. Okay. It's just a fun, spicy romance. The first one follows, I remember, a Scottish guy. I think he's called Lennox, but I might have imagined that. We knew I love a Scottish Formula 1 racer. Am I talking about DC or Susie Wolff? You'll have to guess. It's giving all of the this man is written by a woman vibe, and for that I think absolutely everyone should read it. But again, it's just very similar to, if you loved Throttled, which I know is like quite a big BookTok book now, that's probably the next place I would go. I would go to the Fast and Hard series by Cat Ransom. If you ever make me say that again, I swear to God. And then the next romance series that I would recommend to you if you love Formula 1 and reading is, it's a duology. It's Reved and Revived by Samantha Towell. This one I love because it's an engineer, like a female engineer ex-racing driver. It's so good, it's so good. Which just puts a completely different spin on like the Formula 1 romance, because she's not like a trophy wife, she's an engineer, and it really immerses you more in the world of Formula 1, which I love because I am a nerd. And I've also found that Carrick, our main character in the first book, is not like a lot of Formula 1 love interests is like, you can tell who they're based on. You can tell they're a mishmash of like real life drivers, whereas Carrick is very much his own person. And I loved that because it felt like I was reading a new story as opposed to like a take on real life, if that makes sense. There is a bit of a trigger warning with this one for like a Senna-esque accident, which again, you're gonna hear me say this quite a lot because I take real issue with using like motorsports accidents for like plot development, especially ones that are quite clearly based on real life, because I find that quite uncomfortable to read and a little bit exploitative. But it is handled very well in the way that it addresses mental health in this book, because our main character Andy doesn't want to get involved racer because her dad passed away in quite a horrific accident. So there is that warning. If you're uncomfortable with that sort of thing, give it a miss. But I do recommend this book. It is excellent. I haven't actually read the second book, but I'm very excited to, because I need to escape from the real world of Formula 1 because I absolutely despise it at the moment. Nothing about it is fun, so I'm gonna go to fictional Formula 1. Thank you. The next book is not for my romance girlies, so if you've been watching this and you're like, I don't even read romance, what's the point? This one is a thriller, and like a corporate thriller, which is really fun, and it is Driven by Toby Vincent. It is, I do just want to preface this, I know that most people watching this are probably going to be my age women. This one does feel a lot more catered to men, like it's written for men, and it's slightly mansplaining, but it's okay. We'll move past that, we can overlook that, because it's a very different take on F1 in fiction. It's giving Spygate, it's giving cost cap and scandal, which, depending on when this video comes out, I have many thoughts. I think it's the most realistic like portrayal of Formula 1 in any of these books, because it does just like get to the gritty, no holes barred greed and competitiveness within Formula 1, which I think defines it mostly, having watched it for a very long time. These people were not written by women. These men are capitalists. Toto Wolff, I'm looking at you. And this book really does sum it up. Yeah, if you kind of like know Formula 1 history, I'm really trying not to sound gatekeepy here, but like it does kind of take a path that you can kind of guess from like the third page, but it was still a fun, intriguing read. And if you're a thriller girly, I think you'd love this one. This next one I personally didn't like, but I'm still gonna recommend it, because just because I didn't like a book doesn't mean that you guys aren't gonna like a book. I have learnt that from BookTube. The amount of times that people have been like, oh, I hate this book, and I'm like, that's my favourite book. So you guys might love this book. I personally just didn't particularly enjoy it. Without spoilers, again, it came down to what I felt was quite an exploitative way of dealing with Formula 1 incidents and crashes. But there's a love triangle in this one of like our main character and then like good boy, bad boy, who's she gonna end up with? And that is Chasing Daisy by Paige Toon. And yeah, just because I didn't like it doesn't mean you won't. It's very fast paced, very quick to read, and yeah. Another sort of like mystery, but like more like cozy mystery vibe, is One Summer in Monte Carlo. This, oh my god, the vibes are immaculate. If you are looking for a beach read, like something to read on holiday, this, because my favourite thing ever. It's like the vibes of like Monte Carlo, Monaco, like being a rich trophy wife of Toto Wolff and Susie Wolff. Okay, that's the vibe I want to live in forever, and this book so accurately sums up how much I love those vibes. I'm gonna keep saying vibes because that's the book, that's what the book gives me, like sunshine, rich, old money. It's brilliant, but not in a way that's unrelatable because our main character is actually a nanny of her best friend's twins, but she used to be married to a Formula 1 racer and then he comes back into town. They've got divorced, but then he comes back into town 3 years later, and then the whole book is kind of more of a mystery vibe because things are happening and they also happened 3 years ago and we're trying to get to the bottom of this. And all the drama mick, I just love it. It's so simple and enjoyable and it's not like overly plot driven and the vibes are immaculate, and I just love it so much. And it's probably the best written book on this list as well. I found the writing the most engaging and the most well developed, I think. And then the last book on this list is my favourite book. One of my favourite books I've ever read because it felt like it was written purely for me as a sapphic woman. I'm bisexual, if you can tell by my love of Toto and Susie Wolff, but this one, because I feel like there are no books that cater, like we've only just started getting into like books that are like written for women about Formula 1 because people are only just now aware of the fact that women watch Formula 1. Let me tell you, there are no books that cater to sapphic women with Formula 1 because there's just so few female drivers in Formula 1. Even though Lilla Lombarda, one of the first, like, I think she's the first point scorer in Formula 1, like female point scorer in Formula 1, she was gay. Susie Wolff gives off the most bisexual vibes, but I'm not gonna like be all conspiracy here, but I'm just saying, Susie. I'm just saying. I'm here. When you're ready, I'm here. But this is The Princess and the Pre by Nell Stark. It's part of like a bigger series of like royal romances, but this one specifically is an F1 royal sapphic romance. It's like it was written for me. So good. We follow the Princess of Monaco and then a Formula 1 driver who basically she knows she's been hired because of her gender. She knows it's like a publicity stunt and she is trying to prove everyone wrong and prove that she's there based on merit, because even a couple of days ago Charles Leclerc was like, well, if we're gonna have a woman in F1 she'd better be good because like she can't be there because of her gender. And I'm like, well, if there weren't structural inequalities, meaning that women didn't get into racing. But anyway, that's a different story. This one really did help me live out my Susie Wolff dreams, and I think I thank Nell Stark for that quite a lot because it's fluffy and angsty and there's just a little bit of like spice and it's just so good. I cannot tell you how good this book is because like literally it's like read in an afternoon what dreams are made of book, and I think that's wonderful because obviously there's an element of forbidden romance to it because she's a princess of Monaco. She has an image to uphold. It's like happily ever after. It's just so cute. I'm so bad at talking about romance books because I'm like, I don't want to give away the plot. Like obviously the plot is like they fall in love, but I'm just bad at talking about romance books because like they're not the most well written things in the world. They're like junk food but for your eyes, and I love that. And I think this book is like The Princess and the Pre is one of my favourite books probably ever because this one is very much the story I wish was in Formula 1, mainly between me and Susie Wolff. But yeah, let me know if you've read any of the books on this list, and if you have, what you thought about them, and if you've found any other Formula 1 books, I want to read them. I'm obsessed with reading them, so please comment any other books that I haven't read or you haven't seen me talk about, because I would love to read them so much. And thank you guys for watching. Maybe subscribe if you feel like doing that, and I will see you all in the next video, which hopefully will not be too far away.